This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
There's a lot of self-proclaimed geniuses out there that know the national yield, but they're all wrong.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, July 30th, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you get any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area, and we'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here, December corn up a penny and 3/4 at 473.5. September soybeans were up a quarter at 1176 1/4. And September Chicago wheat was up 17 3/4 at 678.5. This morning, the USDA announced a sale of 132,000 metric tons of soybeans to China. Those were for new crop 26. Also released weekly export sales this morning. Lower end of the range for old crop corn, 362,900. As we get closer to flipping the calendar there on the old crop. On the new crop side, over a million, 1,062,400. That was upper end of the range for new crop corn sales. On the bean side, 302,300 on the old crop and 1,333,200 for new crop. So good, solid new crop sales there. On the wheat side, lower end of the range, 285,200. Meal also lower end of the range, below the low end of the range for both old crop and new crop, 63,300 on the old crop, 51,400 for new crop. And we had 1,100 cancellations on old crop oil, nothing sold for the new crop. Good morning, guys. Overnight, Ukraine got after it pretty good with Russia. So that's heating up pretty good. Also, we got a quarter tick from filling that corn gap that Ben alluded to yesterday. So, Ben, why don't you kick us off with a few thoughts here this morning, and then we'll throw around the room.
I'd say, for all intents and purposes, in my mind, I think you filled the gap. Traded 8.5. The gap's 8 1/4 to whatever it was, 9 or so. I'm good there. I think it was interesting. He pulled back, tapped the 200-day, and then you get some pretty supportive wheat pricing overnight, lifted us up. That kind of starts to be where I think it's the beginning of a trapdoor is sub 67, and we're able to bounce. But I don't think you can rule anything out with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. And we were talking this morning about the media. Yesterday's headlines were talking about China selling 400 Manpad missiles to Iran, which they disputed this morning, said it's not happening. And we had a discussion about what's the value to them. It's really not. And then major news agency redacts the statement from yesterday. So we're in a volatile enough period where the crop is coming in good. It has to finish well, affecting a lot of things in the grain market. So I think you just have to stick to your plan and not get caught up in the noise. Last night when I went to bed, it looked to me like we were going to start purging some people out, TBD this morning. And I think the charts went to some interesting spots. We touched the 20-day again in corn overnight. It's trying to cross the 200-day, which would in theory keep momentum intact. But I think we have a pretty good crop out there and we're on the calendar. So maybe we hang around here a little bit around these moving averages until we get closer to the report and let the data tell us. Next things, other that's really directly related to grain is I think people will be watching conditions on Monday to see if there was further deterioration. We are kind of in the window where we start to see lower crop conditions anyway pretty soon as the crop begins to dry down. So you got to have your plan in place, and it should be everything from, wish orders to what do I need to do to get to where I want to be. I was fielding a couple calls yesterday from some people who's like, I think I have a really good crop. What should we do? And have those conversations with your advisor. So.
Yeah, very good. Justin, good to see, at least on the new crop side, still doing business, so as long as that hangs in there and keeps going, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to, though, right? Like, we have really big demand numbers written down. So we need to keep doing business, and this is our gut slot. or entering into our gut sell, I should say. So yeah, we should keep seeing good sales. If we didn't, you'd start to get worried.
Mhm.
But we got, we've talked about this, I feel, for a couple of years now, where we've got big demand and big supply. And to Ben's point, there's going to be a lot of good crops out there. That being said, we have those written down. I mean, I think the market's trading big crops. We have a lot of rain. I mean, so all the models have kind of come into where we're going to get a good rain. It's going to be super important, in my opinion, that western belt that's been really dry catches all those rains, or a majority of them. Meaning like, Red River Valley, the big areas of Minnesota, Dakotas, into western Iowa. Those areas have been really dry. So I think it's really important that you catch them. So if we were to miss, would be a big shock, I think, at this point that we're. So we are breaking. It's going, between now and call it October 1st is going to be tough to really make a lot of new highs unless the weather, doesn't hit this week and it, gets hot and dry again or something like that. It's just going to be a headwind as we head into that seasonal time frame, I think, after such big rallies that we've had.
Yeah, you look at the weather this morning, and I say the last 2 days, Justin, and you referenced this weekend. I mean, it's going to be interesting how we go home on Friday, and then certainly a flip on Saturday, or excuse me, on Sunday, because you're going to see preserved precip and whether this thing is real or not, because it's, they're certainly forecasting it.
Well, you get, obviously the confidence gets pretty high as you're a few days out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The models have been flipping a lot, but this week they've been getting consistently wetter and kind of cooler for that, those fronts that are supposed to come in. So yeah, I think the market's, trading that. Now, if all that rain does happen, you're going to, if the 14 days accurate, now you're getting heavy rains, beans are going to look good. Corn should have enough moisture to fill, in my opinion, if all those things happen. So I think that'll be a tough long, personally, for a while.
Yeah. Very good. We'll flip real quick here over to livestock. Ryland, seems like cattle guys are taking a little bit of a deep breath after Monday's bloodbath the last couple of days, so that's good to see. And then, but hogs, kind of struggling along this week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we had this little short cover and bounce here with 2 days straight up. So, I mean, I think everybody's starting to get a little bit optimistic that maybe the worst is behind us, but still focus is going to be on the beef right now. Choice is down 243 at 363.43. Select down $1.11, 342.41. So, I mean, I think there's some question how cash is really going to shape up. I mean, Packer bids started kind of post around that about 228 price yesterday. Asking price is 232. So, I mean, I think there's a little bit of cautious optimism. I mean, just from last year's action as well, seeing this thing bounce like right on August 1. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But overall, that optimism needs to be kind of met with some real fundamentals here. So I still think the focus is really going to be on the beef for right now. But at least right now, cash could start to steady out a little bit. So we'll see. We'll know a little bit more by the tail end of the week. But yeah, hog market, it's been a really good run. I mean, we've seen cash prices start to firm up here, cut out, going back into triple digit territory. But now it just kind of seems like if this trajectory may be a little bit questionable here. So cash was still up 101.79, but still off the recent highs, and carcass just kind of slipped yesterday down 213. So it does feel like the focus is still going to be on the belly and the ham market. And we are seeing those prices start to turn down. I mean, we are kind of at that point where sometimes we reach those seasonal highs in cash, and the product market will likely lead at this point. But overall, it just kind of feels like we're kind of in the doldrums right now. So I think there's a little bit of caution. We did see some liquidation yesterday, mostly out of the August contract, still down almost 2,000 contracts in commitment. So it does kind of feel like blue may be a little bit off the rose right now, running right into that 100-day moving average resistance. So it just seems like it's probably a good time to get a little extra protection on, just in case we're getting past the good seasonal time frame.
Bloom off the rose.
Bloom off the rose, yes.
Wow. That's good stuff there, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. We real quick, tomorrow, Friday, fun fact, Brian will be in. It's going to be awesome. He's assured me that it's going to be a really good fun fact Friday. So that'll be sure to tune in on for that one. Also, link is in the description. War Room Report. Be sure to check it out. Access to premium content. We'll do reactions to USDA reports and really just an overall deeper dive into everything that we discuss daily here on the War Room. Also, a portion of those subscription fees goes directly to support the AgYield NextGen Foundation, which of course puts on our national scholarship competition for ag students. So check that out. If you get any questions on how to support, feel free to give us a call. We'd love to go through that with you. Appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and subscribe. We're doing this every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments here this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
The War Room is presented by AgYield, a risk management partner of American grain farmers for over 50 years. Looking for more in-depth analysis? Check out the War Room Report. Our team's knowledge and expertise delivered straight to your inbox every weekday. Each report delivers key market-moving headlines, critical weather updates, USDA report breakdowns, and exclusive video content. All for $50 a month. And most importantly, 10% of every subscription will go directly to support the AgYield NextGen Foundation, a nonprofit investing in agricultural education and the future of farming. To sign up for the War Room Report, check out the link in the description or learn more at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.